I'm Matt Nelson and welcome to Hawkeye Stories on HawkeyeSports.com. Retired Iowa football coach Hayden returned to town for Fry Fest last weekend. Coach Fry is known for winning and telling stories. At a panel discussion with many of his old quarterbacks, it was clear that in addition to passing on passing skills to his QBs, Coach Fry passed on the ability to tell an old tale. Here are some of the best stories from that hour, starting with Ryan Driscoll and the recruiting visit Coach Fry made to his house.
Two of my high school buddies hiding out in the basement, and they ended up getting in a big wrestling match. And Coach Fry said, "What's that ruckus downstairs?" And I said, "Oh, those are my buddies. They just wanted to be here while you were here." I said, "Well, get them on up here." He ends up offering them both of my buddies manager jobs. They both respectfully declined. That's the kind of guy he was. He ended up offering my two buddies the manager jobs at Iowa as they were wrestling in my basement on a home visit.
My first recollection of Iowa football, I'll never forget this. My father and I were in the car, and they were on the radio, the game on the radio, and Phil Seuss was the quarterback, and they were lighting it up. I mean, they were going empty sets. They were throwing it all over the field, and something that the Big Ten was not used to, as you probably know, Phil. And my father, I'll never forget this, said, "Who is this Hayden Fry at Iowa? This guy, there's something about this guy I really like." He turned to me and Carl, I'll never forget that. That was my first recollection of Iowa football.
I remember on my recruiting trip, the plane I was supposed to come into Iowa City on got snowed in up in the Boston area. So some 4-seater little plane, we flew into a snowstorm, get into Iowa City. Bob Stoops was my host. Went out with Chuck and Bob and Jonathan Hayes, who was also from Pittsburgh. And if I recall, the snow was higher than the cars on the side of the street. And one would ask, why would you have ended up at the University of Iowa after that? It was the great people that I met during that visit, and all of the players on the staff and what they believed in, what Coach Fry was doing. That was an easy thing to make a decision to come here, and I'm forever grateful for that.
But the one story I have with Coach is when he came to St. Ansgar, and the beautiful thing about the way he had this recruiting set up is the assistants, obviously did all the legwork, and he was the closer. He came in and said, "Here it is, take it or leave it." And in a town like St. Ansgar, when Coach Fry came to town, it was front page news, and people knew about it. It was pretty exciting. And when he walked into the school, we were sitting in the guidance counselor's office. My dad was a football coach and math teacher. My mom was a German teacher, and we're sitting in there, and Coach Fry starts talking German to my mom. And I took 3 years of German. I have no idea what they're talking about, but I just said, "Holy smokes! This guy has it figured out." And from that point on, he was a man that I really respected and trust, and certainly someone I look up to, and just feel very fortunate to be part of this football family.
I can still remember the first few ball games at the University of Iowa, standing on the sideline at Kinnick Stadium. We make a first down, and we get a standing ovation. And I'm thinking, I wonder what they would do if we scored a touchdown.
I had 3 favorite words come out of Coach Fry's mouth that I always like to hear, and that was "check with me." And let me explain that. Most head coaches are serious as heck. They want to control every single thing, every single part of a game, etc. But one thing Coach Fry realized, and there's 100 things that make him different, but he knew that if his quarterback trusted the play and he believed that he could get it done, a lot of times he's going to have success on his own. And that was pretty unique, to trust your quarterback that well. And for him, on 3rd and 15 in Michigan Stadium, or 3rd and 8 in Kinnick Stadium, to look at you and say, "Check with me," or "go like that," was the greatest feeling. He'd let you call the play in the huddle. He'd say, "You know what, I'm not going to call the play. I'm going to let my quarterback call the play."
But Chuck Hartlieb, I have to tell you at least one story. We're playing against a team in the Big Ten. He throws 7 touchdown passes, and he comes off the field and says, "Coach Fry, let somebody else play. I'm tired." And I said, "Chuck, you've done a wonderful job. That's a good suggestion." Well, I introduced him years later at a banquet, and I said, "Chuck Hartlieb, he threw 7 touchdown passes." And he leans over to me and says, "Coach Fry," he said, I've been wanting to tell you this for years. I threw 8. You forgot about the interception they returned for a touchdown. Well, you can see, I thought the news media was going to be a little bit more productive today for some reason, so I didn't wear my hearing aids. And a lot of the things being said today, I don't hear too well. I do that on purpose. So what is it you want me to say? You see, I've had 9 operations. I have to work on my sense of humor. The greatest advice I've ever gotten after the 9th operation, and most people here don't know that I had cancer my last year of coaching, and they were slipping me into the hospital the back way, and my defensive coordinator, Bobby Elliott, was coming in the front door. He was getting radiation in one room, and I was getting it in another. But anyway, I've been able to keep things a pretty good secret through the years. But after the last operation, the doctor said, is there anything else I can do for you? And I said, yes, sir. What can I do besides the surgery and all the medication and everything? Is there anything I can do? He said, yeah, there's 2 things. Number 1, he said, do you have a pet? I said, sure, I've got a pet. I got a Mexican Chihuahua. He said, great. He said, do you have a sense of humor? I said, sometimes. And he got this big ugly look on his face and said, work on it. So you'll have to excuse me today. I'm trying to work on my sense of humor.
Iowa football hosts Ball State Saturday at 2:30. Tickets are available at HawkeyeSports.com. I'm Matt Nelson, and thanks for watching Hawkeye Stories.